guys, Prowl 1701 here, and I dug out my Star Trek Blu-ray set of the original series, which isn't nearly as cool as my UK Next Generation set, but I dug it out and decided we haven't done something non-Doctor Who related in a while, since Empire of Death has left such a bad taste in my mouth, and I mentioned, you know what, I was thinking about doing some reviews of some original Star Trek, and I thought I would start with an episode that I have only seen once or twice, and it's a bad one. So we're going to be talking about Spock's brain. Ooh. Ooh. It's a bad one. There's no way around that. It's pretty bad. The whole idea is dumb. Of Race taking his brain and then Spock being remote controlled around like a little toy robot. I mean, it sounds like an easy check for Leonard Nimoy, but... and it's being done by this group of people who were smart, but who are now dumb, but who has a computer that can make them temporarily smart, and then McCoy gets to become temporarily smart, and then not so smart. Oh, so we had another situation where the men and women are divided on this planet, with the men being kind of barbarian cavemen types on top of the planet, and the women being kind of the Valley Girl blondes type down inside the planet where it's warm, wearing their more traditional 60s Star Trek outfits. That don't hide much. I mean, they obviously, in 60s Star Trek, liked dressing the women up to look very attractive in that what they considered to be futuristic outfits. I love the 60s Star Trek's retro futuristic look in a lot of things, but especially how it treats the female characters, the guest characters. All right, let's put them in something that reveals a lot and is really shiny, with the shiny little boots that go up to their knee. But it's fun to look at. There are some really cool moments performance-wise. William Shatner has a really neat moment when they first wake up and they find Spock in sickbay, when you see him talking about everything he's willing to do to save Spock. You know, we'll have to go find him. All of the dialogue William Shatner does there, when he's bound and determined to save Spock no matter the cost, I really liked his performance there. It really does speak of someone who is doing everything he can to save his friend. You know, obviously, you know, he has a personal connection to Spock that comes across in the emotions there, and I really liked that acting. Now, don't get me wrong, we get some of the more traditional Shatner acting, the stereotypical Shatner acting, I should say. Sometimes, like when he's pleading with the woman to show him the controller, please, and he gets on his knees, show us the controller, and she activates the belts, and he's... and we get our Shatner moments in there. Yeah, the little pain belts that they should be able to press a button to open. But I thought it meant the red button that was actually on their belts. Because even Spock's like, it doesn't seem to make much sense. Kirk's like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. I was confused. But then they had to use the little thing on her arm to do it. It's so... And was this the first episode of the season? I think this was the first episode of season 3. Maybe that's why season 3 gets such a bad rep. It's one of the worst episodes. He remote controls Spock. And Kirk remote controlling him to grab her. I thought he was going to remote control Nerve Pincher for a second. And he was grabbing, like, I literally didn't remember much of this story. I remembered the little thing on his head, him being brain controlled in the kind of olive overalls. But I didn't remember a lot of it. I swear I've only seen it like once. And that was like back in the 90s. Because it's such a bad one, I don't go back to it. So the reason I went back to it is I just wanted to refresh myself on it. It seemed like an interesting one to start with. I watched it with the updated effects, which are more jarring to me than they used to be. Not like bad jarring. It's just, I guess because the CGI is dated by today's standards. Like, it looked pretty fresh and new when they first released the updated effects for it. But it looks obviously older CGI now, like mid-2000s CGI. That and the fact they didn't try to change too much. They still tried to make the shots look a lot like the vintage shots if you get what I mean, instead of kind of doing their own thing with it. And I kind of wish we'd get new updated effects. I'm not saying Star Trek Discovery level updated effects, although Star Trek Discovery could use some original series level writing. Not this episode, but some regular original series writing. But I'm not saying this needs Discovery level updated effects, but you could do something updated effects and make them a little more dynamic. I would like that. Some people probably think that would clash with the interior shots, but I would like it. I don't think it would clash. I would enjoy it. So I did find the updated CGI a little jarring, but I mean, the original practical effects weren't the best to write home about either. So there's a few performances I like. It's interesting, again, seeing this retro version of the future, especially with the women's outfits. I love those outfits, I do. Everybody's putting in a good performance for the most part. Just, especially at 50 minutes long, the story seemed to take forever to accomplish nothing. Like, I don't know. I had to pause and get up a couple times and come back to it. It just, 50 minutes is too long for this episode. It needs to be like 30 minutes, 35 minutes. It just drug on. And by the end of it, I'm like, I don't think it was worth the time it took to get here. And of course it ends on the little humorous bit like they do sometimes with Spock lecturing, and McCoy's like, I knew I made a mistake restoring his vocal cords. Yeah, I mean, I love the little arguing McCoy and Spock do, so that was nice. And now Spock's like, as I was saying, it starts over, and of course they have their laugh. It's a little contrived, but I liked it well enough. I like the fact that Kirk claims they'll stay to help out with this new civilization to get acquainted. I hope that works. Kirk's not known for always sticking around to make sure that works. Let's look at what happened to Khan. So I hope that society survived. So yeah, I just Spock's brain. It's one of my least favorite original series episodes. I don't understand, one, why they made that, unless they're just, it's so, 20 something episodes this season, we gotta do some filler here, and if you're gonna do that, why make it the season opener or put it right at the beginning of the season like that? You need something better than that to start out with, because it really stretches believability. It stretches my willing suspension of disbelief. So Spock's brain, have you seen it? What do you think of it? Comment down below and let me know. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me on that. There is a link to that down there as well. I have several different tiers there to choose from. I want to give a shout out to a couple of my top tier patrons, Colin Coney and Stephen Crane. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. I have a P.O. box if there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review. A link to my Amazon wish list is down there. I do have the new 4K releases of the Trek movies, the original and the Next Generation, on there, if anyone wants to send those. I also have an Amazon UK wish list down there as well for more Doctor Who related stuff. And then, my mind, like my train of thought just went. And I also would appreciate if you just click the like button and the subscribe button. That helps me out, and I certainly appreciate it. Most importantly, thank you for watching.